response video, probably on some economic issue of some kind, from this poker-faced Todd retard. So the rich be bad. Oh, really? Inmendham's on the evil of whatever. So I hope he has some commentary here, but we'll see. It won't take long because he'll say something preposterously truther. Okay, he'll start spouting Ron Paulyisms. This is pathetic. 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 Voting and such. I will increase the volume. No doubt that might be necessary. And we'll wait on YouTube. Come on, YouTube. Thank you very much. Let's see. Let's see. The socialist old beach bum is an idiot. Oh, gee.
Welcome to Wayfair.com.
Oh,
we sell home stuff.
This is pathetic. He's got like 4 subscribers. He's got fucking ads on his video. Jesus Christ.
Stuff. Anything, everything online.
Pathetic. Pathetic.
Alright, talking about the rich. Let's see what inmendham has to say.
Yeah.
So, I guess just a quick outline, what's the problem with the rich? Well, the rich spend a lot of money, which is labor, so they have a lot of stuff, cash and commodities and things they own.
Yeah, okay, I might as well bring this up because in the Modern Mystic video he used this against me because I said cash in there. And, you know, I was just basically saying, I said things they own. They have stuff, they have cash, they have things they own. I was just pointing out that they have this wealth, this ownership, assets, and that they can cash them out, so to speak. They can trade them for people's work or labor. And that's the only point I was making. And the mystic went, oh, I'm using cash again. Well, I'm sorry, you can take the word cash out of there. I don't care. You could say they have bank digits, or they have banking accounts, or they have stocks, or they have bonds, or they have 8 or 9 or 10 summer homes. They could sell one of them, and they can hire somebody to do work on the other ones. That's all I was saying.
And they spend those into the economy to get people to do work for them.
So they bribe the poor people with things and money to buy things.
And that...
I don't know. Is that what I said? No. What I said is they hoard a bunch of stuff that has value, and value is created by work. So it's old work. Workers worked on the plantation, let's say, and they made wheat. And the owner would have the wheat in a silo, and the owner could sell the wheat and get his feet manicured or something. The wheat represents the work of the workers. The wealth the rich people have, they only have because they took it from somebody else's labor. They gleaned it as a profit off of their labor. And now they're going to expend this thing that's valuable. This thing like being in a coal mine, you know, in China, or this thing like inhaling toxic fumes, and this stuff that people have to do. Work is unpleasant in the world. You know, some work is horribly unpleasant. And that's what money is made out of. That's what wealth, that's what stuff is made out of, is that labor. And so when you spend it, you have a certain responsibility not to disgrace it. But you wouldn't understand that point because this takes, you know, more than a 4th grade understanding of reality.
Work involves, you know, lugging marble across the ocean and doing all kinds of stuff.
Meaningless stuff. But to a poor person, it might be a job.
Well, again, to a poor person, it might be a job. Well, yeah, prostitution to a poor person might be a job. The point is there's a certain amount of labor that has to be done in our civilization, right? Like if we were on an island or a lifeboat, if you were on a lifeboat, you could sit there and figure out who was contributing to your survival on the lifeboat and who wasn't. Okay, who was just eating and getting fat and sinking the boat. Who was taking up space or consuming the resources, or who was producing resources. So you could have like the scientist on Gilligan's Island, who was very productive. Without him, everybody would have died because he was the guy who kept their water clean, and he was the guy who kept kept the thing running because he made a contribution. And so you can look at rich people and you can say, well, what is their value? Well, their value is this horrible expenditure. They waste our resources. There's a certain amount of labor we have to do, and we're going to have to do the electrical lines, and we're going to have to do the outhouses, and we're going to have to do all that work anyway. And they want us to do this extra bullshit work for them. They want us to lug pretty rocks all the way across the island so they can look at them in their kitchen. The point is it's this wasted work. It has no value to the civilization. It doesn't provide clean water and sanitation and a dignified life for the people on the island. It's just waste. It's wasted labor, and it's offensive to waste somebody's labor. It'd be offensive for me just because I had the money to have somebody jump up and down in my living room for 8 hours a day to make a living. It's a grotesque insult to our human dignity. So rich people should be fucking dragged out into the ocean and fucking dumped there like toxic waste that they are. They're useless sacks of waste shit. And they don't have the excuse of the welfare whore or the disabled person. Okay? They have no excuse. They don't have to be wasteful sacks of shit. They choose to be.
That you and I will never benefit from. It doesn't mean that we'll have more, a cheaper automobile, or that, our cable will be more durable.
Well, perhaps in the process of pulling up the marble, they needed to get some seriously powerful cables that we don't have now, and they had to come up with their wastefulness actually created a more powerful cable.
Can you imagine a more idiotic truther kind of response? Oh, well, because, companies dumped a bunch of dioxin in the stream, we invented the technology to, magnetically detect whether a barrel was going to blow up as soon as we pulled it out into the atmosphere or something. Or we got a new sonar for, I mean, this is, yeah, you could get it by doing constructive work too. So you're not going to justify, like releasing the AIDS. Let's say the AIDS virus was actually released by a laboratory. You're not going to be able to say, well, it was a good thing to do because, yeah, it made these guys work harder on viral diseases or something. I mean, that's just it's a ludicrous justification. Absolutely so far-fetched and preposterous. Again, I mean, it's like me hiring somebody to go jump up and down in my living room and then speculating about how, it's good for his cardiovascular system. It's so fucking stupid.
Or maybe the process of all the work that they did that was meaningless came up with ideas of how it made our cars safer or better in some way.
Does that mean anything to you either? They came up with ways to make their meaningless blah blah. No, so they inherit money, they invest it in companies, they piss away the profits off those investments on silly personal indulgences. And that's like going to the moon or something. There's lots of added value potential in a birthday party. A $2 million birthday party has lots of value added. You're an idiot. No, doing research in laboratories is where you're likely to find invention. Yeah, yeah, you have to do it on purpose, idiot. Wright brothers would, let's invent an airplane. Okay, well, that's aerodynamics and technical and all that kind of shit. Why don't we just go buy some marble from Spain, and of course they'll invent the airplane when they're bringing the marble over. Yeah, right.
Our electrical service will be more durable. It has no relationship to that. And a lot of it's just service stuff like, let's have a $2 million birthday party, so let's just waste a bunch of resources.
So service means labor, and labor means jobs, and so he's basically saying, let's get rid of the jobs because
right, right. I'm basically saying that we could work half as much work if we got rid of all the bad jobs. That's right. The economy is making so much money, right? We can say that a ton of the work being done is stupid. It's writing small print. It's paying some pompous asshole to go, I think a red can will do it. Let's figure out how to psychologically manipulate people and make them click on this. So yeah, if we paint it this color, and let's do years of research to figure out how to make people click on things. So there's a ton of labor that's completely waste hours. And if those people were migrated to productive work, that means all of us could work half as less for the same productive economy. So that's why you're an idiot and a fool, is because you don't understand what waste is. Okay, waste is doing something that doesn't need to be done, that doesn't enhance or create productivity. And we know that productivity, work that produces value, is some guy fixing the electricity lines, not some guy dusting marble shelves in some rich person's 14th house. I mean, old man Forbes used to have castles all over Europe. I don't know whether the young Forbes, well, the middle fucking age Forbes, the spawn, maintains them or not. But, he used to have castles in Europe that he owned. And all he had in them was a bunch of little soldiers, little wooden soldiers in little glass cases. And he paid to heat the castles all through the winter so the humidity and the temperature wouldn't crack the little wooden soldiers. That's called fucking waste.
That produce products that go into the party, and all the people that are doing the service of work basically are just a waste in the economy. Although those people spend their money into the economy instantly, so if a rich person had a great big party...
Look, the question's really simple. You got, let's spend the money on a stupid party, let's spend the money curing malaria. I mean, this isn't that complicated. Okay, let's spend the money on a stupid party. Let's spend the money coming up with an alternative fuel source that's, solves the green problem, or create a carbon sink and save the world. There, it's not complicated.
Party. Well, you get the idea.
Build them on the ground, basically. Let's just get drunk and have a party and, waste $1 million worth of stuff.
It's never wasted because the $1 million.
See, well, that's why you're so stupid. It's never wasted. Of course, it's wasted. Okay, if I take a barrel of oil and I just light it on fire in my yard, it's wasted. The heat could keep somebody warm. The fuel could run a train. It could do a ton of different things, but instead it's wasted. There is such a thing as waste in the world. You can't play this game that any fire is a good fire. It's idiotic. There's good fires and then there's forest fires, and that's all the fucking rich do is create destructive employment. They create waste employment. They just create drudgery for other people to do for them that accomplishes nothing for our civilization. I thought this lens would work, but it seems to be falling down, as they say.
It's like energy. It just spread around. It's moved to different places. It's turned into different things. You turned your $1 million into a night of fun, and that $1 million spread out over all those people that provided that fun.
Burn it to the ground.
Yeah. Well, again, that's just this idiotic notion that let's see. Again, any fire's a good fire. It's just stupid. Oh yeah, well, it's just energy transferring. Well, it's also creating carbon. It's creating mass. It's creating labor. It's creating sweat. These are all important things. To say it's getting spread around, it'd be better just to spread it around by handing it to the people and saying, "Hey, don't beat your wife and pet your dog. Here's $1 million." That would have been a much more efficient way to distribute the money than force the people to stand in your living room and jump up and down when they should be home taking care of their kids, or they could be home taking care of their kids.
So to speak. Burn it. Period.
One burn.
And so that's one liability of the rich, is they're extremely expensive in terms of their personal indulgences, yachts and all this, personal jets and all this stuff that you don't get any.
Well, I can absolutely prove him wrong on this point. We had a luxury tax years ago here in Florida that killed our yachting community. I mean, we had a huge yachting community that took...
Yeah, when they abolished slavery, it really hurt the old plantation community too. I mean, it's just so stupid. So yeah, your you're helping satisfy the waste indulgences. We're watching people squander the value created by people in coal mines on personal indulgent luxuries with which only a tiny percentage of people will ever get any value out of, plus all the work it took to build the yacht, which could be years of laborers working every day to do that. Not being home with their kids, not being able to take a vacation, not being able to do all the things that most people want to do with their time. And you're going to tell me I should lament the loss of your prostitution business? No, I'm not going to lament it.
Decades to build, and once it was built, it was destroyed in 1 year with the idea that the rich were enjoying themselves too much with these big boats. So you'd go out and spend $1 million on a boat, and you didn't mind spending $1 million on the boat, but when the government said, you know, you need to give us $100 grand because you know, you got all this extra money, you know what they say is, never mind, I didn't need the boat that bad. So who's out? Well, all the guys that build the boats. Well, there's hundreds, thousands of those guys that got put out of work. And
yeah, again, and you don't really understand that it would be much better if we migrate our social capital, the productivity we as the people create, all the people working on the farms and all the people working on the industries and all the people doing the real work and the real value, that we would, if we're going to extract profit off of their labor, that we would invest that profit in something better than fucking yachts. You can't see how people who have spent their life being productive would find it pretty goddamn offensive that you're going to waste their time, waste a portion of their labor on that.
And those were really good jobs. Those were $60,000, $70,000 a year jobs that were really helpful to our economy.
Yeah, just points out more how expensive the wealthy are. That they're $60,000 and $70,000 jobs, right? So you're telling me the wealthy could have just as, instead of having a yacht, they could have just as easily created $60,000 or $70,000 jobs as a research laboratory curing a disease. So they could have been doing something completely socially productive, and instead they were forcing people to build them a yacht. And you can't understand how there's a that can be called waste. All right, I don't know. Do we really need to go any further? We'll go a little further.
When those jobs went, then it really hurt all the lower level jobs, all the service jobs. You know, people that make 70 grand a year go out to dinner, they go to movies, they do all these things that suddenly now they're making.
Yeah, well, again, that's not the point, because obviously the $70,000 research laboratory guy would have just as much. Guy can go out to dinner now. But again, I'm not going to justify sitting there creating all this waste work on personal indulgence. You have a responsibility to spend money in some sort of reasonable way. And enslaving other people to jump up and down in your living room is bullshit. So try to do better than that.
And $20,000 a year, they're not doing anymore. See what I'm saying?
No, I don't see it at all. And we know the only reason why restaurants stay in business is because they're exploiting desperate people. You know, divorced women with 3 kids, completely being extorted into insane working hours and crappy working conditions. So let's not talk about this, you know, this beneficial effect of just another round of enslavement to waste work at undignified wages.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do you any good whatsoever to have them flying over your head. And the poor have this opposite liability where they create babies, and the babies are very expensive, and they have to be taken care of, and they're stupid as fuck, and they drive into your car, and they just make a mess. Okay.
Okay, well, that now he's just stereotyping. Yeah, there are some poor people that are
stereotyping. It's a fact. Okay, it's not a stereotype. The poor don't pay their bills by definition, retard. They're not poor if they're paying their bills. Okay, if you're paying your bills, you're not poor. Okay, so by definition, when I say the word poor, I'm talking about people who can't pay their bills. You can't understand that?
That are problematic, that bring all this trouble on the world. But there are a lot of poor people that bring a lot of good to the world, and you know, I mean,
No, a lot. You can say that all you want, but you're not going to be able to prove it. You know, show me these poor people that bring a lot of good onto the world. Show it, demonstrate it. You know, that's just it's just bullshit. All they do, overall in the, if you take the real percentages, the odds of them producing a on the wrong end of the bell curve IQ person versus one on the right end of the bell curve. Okay, and now let's go with every other statistical judgment of human character, and you'll find that it's all weighted to one end. So don't pretend we don't know that's the side it's weighted to. So the fact that there's exceptional poor people doesn't justify having poor people, because you know you know exceptions only really matter when they're negative exceptions, right? I mean, it's catastrophe you have to worry about, not perfection. So the fact that once in a while you have a, let's just say that once in a while a nuclear power plant worked, well, that wouldn't be a reason to have nuclear power, right? If most of them didn't work and a few did work, well, you wouldn't say let's have nuclear power then. Oh, anyway. I mean, he's such an idiot. So anyway, I won't waste any more of your time on these idiotic arguments. He doesn't understand waste. He doesn't understand the nature of the truth that workers create value and rich people steal a percentage of that value, and that's how they get rich. And he's an idiot. And that's all we can say. That's all we need to say. So, till next time. You know, I was really hoping this stuff, I don't really want to glue this lens on, but I guess I'm going to have to. Because the putty ain't making it. Anyway, till next time.